What's going on, guys? I'm going to turn the spindle on in a moment here, but before I do, because of the noise, I figured I'd just say a few words. As this is kind of a big moment for me personally, this is something that kind of started rolling around in my head about 10 years ago. So for about 10 years now, I've kind of been putting the parts and pieces together, not only physically but mentally, and just through research and whatnot, for getting a CNC machine going in the shop here. And I'm not trying to make this a bigger deal than it really is, but I guess after you've kind of put 10 years of thought and effort into something, I guess it does kind of become a little bit of a big deal. So it was about 10 years ago now. I'm not sure what really started the process, or kind of the thoughts for me to want a CNC machine. Unfortunately, I don't quite remember that far back, I guess, at this point. But 10 years ago, I did see, I guess, somebody maybe on YouTube or something, or one of the machining forums, that had something like a CNC router, and kind of decided I wanted to look into getting one myself. And ultimately, as those of you who follow me have no doubt figured out by now, I have decided to build one. I also looked into purchasing one, whether a kit or just flat out. I bought a number of different plans over the years, just trying to figure out which one I wanted to build or buy. And I even looked into maybe retrofitting existing machines like a knee mill or a lathe or something. And as you already know, or have no doubt seen, I did decide ultimately on just building a router. And this is kind of a jumping off point for me, or a beginning point, I guess, just to really learn CNC machining, from the G code to the CAD and CAM. I know a little bit about CAD, but as far as implementing it or integrating it into a CAM, or a manufacturing process, if you will, that's what I really want to start learning with this machine. I've got several projects kind of on the drawing board, or in the back of the mind here, that I think this machine will be suitable for. But ultimately there's a lot more I want to do with CNC machining. That's going to take upgrading down the road, hopefully to something like a VMC, or something a little bit more robust, like a turning center, or a milling or a machining center. I'm not sure I'll ever really go to a 5-axis point. I'm not going to kind of jump that far ahead right away, but I certainly want to get into more metal and steel machining, and I think this is kind of a good way to start. So in the meantime, we'll be processing wood, maybe get into some aluminum, some phenolics, plastics, things like that. But the real reason for this video is just to kind of show you guys my first ever project here, which will just be kind of a hello world starting point for me. Now, I have hit cycle start before to face the board. I've kind of got past that little hurdle there, but this is kind of the first time hitting cycle start on a little bit more of a complex program, which in and of itself is actually pretty simple. It's just an engraving. Again, hello world in today's date. Just something to kind of set a milestone for me, and be a little bit of a reminder of kind of when things finally came together. And hopefully they'll stay together. And I guess we'll find out if this works at all. If not, you guys probably won't even see this video. But without making it too long, I want to keep this under 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the spindle on, and we'll hit cycle start, see what happens. So stand by. Alright, we'll let that wind up to speed. And we got the mouse on cycle start and ready to hit the E-stop if something goes south. So here goes nothing. Go ahead and shut the spindle off. Probably should have moved the mouse off the table, almost skimmed a little bit off of that. But go ahead and loosen up the clamps here. It's a little hard to get around the frame of the CNC here to show you this while it's on the table. So alright, not too bad. Maybe a little bit of sanding, take some of those burrs down. But there you go, guys. First project on the CNC. Just a little placard out of some scrap MDF to kind of commemorate the maiden voyage, I guess. And hopefully the next projects you see on this thing may be a little bit more interesting. But I'm definitely excited. And this moment's been a long time coming, to say the least. So appreciate you guys who follow me on this little project and journey of mine. And hopefully I'll have a little bit more interesting content for you coming up. So thanks for watching, guys.